We're dealing with setting and teaching setting, and topic as assigned to me by Berg was progressive setting, U12, U18. And so I thought kind of breaking this up into two portions. What I'm calling U12 to U14, probably even starting before U12. And then, because that's to me is foundational in teaching everybody to be able to be comfortable overhand setting, handling the ball, maybe thinking a little bit on very basic stuff, how to set the ball. And then U15 to 18, how you start introducing setting training. And just so you know, so my background is university level. I was a setter when I played, and sometimes that influences things a little bit. You may be less technical in some ways, right? And when you're coaching that same position, you probably have a little more empathy to the time. And then if you didn't play that position and are trying to, acquire the knowledge. I know just for myself, I find it a little bit different, so I'll just mention that. I've had a fair bit of fun working with atomic development, and now just sort of following my daughter up. So I can't claim to be a good U14 setting coach at all, because we just started. I'll let you know in a year maybe how that's going. I am interested in the group here. Your primary interest, are you more in that U12 to U14 area, or the later group setter development? Because that'll maybe shift a little bit proportion of time. We're doing both, but. So U12 to U14 in that initial thing, and 15 to 18. Okay, so there we go. Yep, a little bit more that way. All right, let's roll. Patience is a virtue. So the first thing I'm going to say about this is this takes a while to acquire this skill. Okay? So that's for you, but you're also going to have to be patient with them and influence a little bit how you set up their first activities. Because I think one of the things that happens early on is they try and set too early. Before actually the motor development, it's a tough skill. Before that motor development is set, then they become very rigid, and certain movement patterns become developed that are very detrimental down the road. Okay? So if your I'm a big believer now in atomic and catching the second ball. Starting by catching that second ball and throw. And I also think there's some transfer there for just concepts about leading hitters. There's things you can do to teach the kids even as they're taught. Saying, no, that's where the hitter is, how you go, making those decisions. Because on the fly, trying to do the skill and execute that way too much for the younger kids. So don't be afraid to back it up a little bit, okay? Or dial down your expectations. Right. I think anybody, it's not 100% mandatory, but if you want to pass your NCCP level 1, you must get a volleyball. I'm kidding. But I would rather, setting is a tactile skill, right? I think you as a coach, you don't have to be a good setter, but you need to be comfortable showing and handling the ball. So let's get balls out, and we're going on the floor, and then we're going to be going to the wall, and you're doing it. They look at me like, he said I had no demonstrators, and you guys were the demonstrators, so let's go work off lunch. We're on the court. Oh, no, one ball. Individual. You could share a ball. There might be enough for everybody. So we're taking this right down, right to the beginning. So I'm just going to go through some of the stuff, and I'll give you time to make a few notes at the end for all you control people. Yeah. All right, here we are, class. We're just going to talk hand position. We're up, wide enough, fingers spread. And I want you to even just do a little bit of this, so wrists are back. Point it in. You find your own good cues that you like. Here's a few that I like, that try and get away for some of the things that happen a lot. Nice, big, and wide, and then I'll make them get to the ball. And only, all right, guys, you see that panel that says Baden there? I want you on the outside of that. All right, and away we go. 5, 6 in a row, 7 in a row. Boom, maybe put one high. Back down, press again. Go, go, go. Do that a couple of times, no problem. Coming up, you're gonna feel okay there. I'll circulate a little bit. I'll pick out somebody that's doing something nice and, well, nicely spread. That's good, Donna. Nice open hands, way to go. All right, and then the next thing we'll do is we'll just talk about, or let's put it this way, common error, too stiff through here, okay? So when I go around, I'll even, see, and just relax that, loosen that up. And it starts with the hands and the wrists. So I talk sometimes about, just for a visual for them, I want to see those wrinkles in your grandma. I want to see grandma's wrinkles right at your wrists. All right? So bend that back. So they're not like this or like this, right? Shaping the ball. Thumbs can go a little bit to forehead or to eyes, pointing there, something like that that makes them think about that. And then this action is like a trampoline. And I'll slow it down. Like this, boom. And then, okay? So just even mentally, they're getting the idea of this coming up. And then we're just going to time it from there. So, 2 small, boom, push high. Let it bounce. So they get a little feel here, 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 and then the actual extension out of the ball. Okay? So feel free, go ahead. And then I might catch them, spread out onto the court. You got room. Tactile. It's good. And we'll stop it. We may talk contact point if I see a lot of them way up here, like reaching just over the forehead. But I'll mix it up because they get bored, right? They're not going to pay attention. So let's go just 3 fingers. All right? Go. And nice and straight. On those pads. On those pads. But going, and then we'll do little contests, okay? This would be a good one. Everybody in the drill here, everybody got to stay in the court, and you got to move around. Okay? So you got to move around. Get in there and move different directions. And they're going to get tired of doing this after a bit. So we'll say, all right, let's forearm pass. And then I'll switch it after 20 seconds. Now you got to set from there. And we'll do stuff like, all right, you get to knock balls away, right? Last ball stand, and there you go. But you got to keep yours in the air too, buddy boy. All right, I got to be there. Do you guys, is that fine? Can I move to the next section, and then we'll come back to the chairs and you can sit? Is that all right? Any questions on that? There's lots of different things you can do, just individual contact. Kessel's gone, right? Yeah. I don't know if he'd like this or not. And I'll give you, he talked on motor learning. I wasn't there yesterday because we were playing, but I speak by that, and I'm really, that kind of is my real interest too. So I think a lot about the distinctions between game-like, I'm sure he talked on that, right? Block and random here, and he's sort of getting to think that way. But at entry level to me, you can't just start that way, all right? Another way of looking at skill development is that gradual stretching of their comfort zones. How do you challenge them appropriately, okay? So to me, you have to start kind of this way, not back and forth with partners, not right at the net. Wait, the issue is how long do you stay in these kind of drills, i.e. be careful about staying too long and making them that it's absolutely got to be perfect. If you're a bit of a control freak, well, no, that's, I said 2 inches apart here and thumbs at 48-degree angle. You know, don't go there. Just, hey, I got the feel of the ball. Think of it from their point of view. Okay, can do that. And then challenge some individuals more. So they're past that, and all right, Donna, let's go. Low and high, right? Low and high. You don't have to do it. I'm just saying hypothetically, move it around. And challenge a little bit more and move there. Somewhere in there I wrote, famous Chinese volleyball saying, touch 1,000 balls a day, all right? Because they do touch 1,000 balls a day. Our kids will not. right? We're not going to train with that amount of volume. But I think we need to create some situations where maybe they get 100 or 150 somehow, some way. They need that, like I said, that tactile experience. Touching the ball, it takes time. All right, let's meander and we'll all get together close to a wall. I know these are basic kind of drills, but that's okay. Like just it that way, it won't stand too long. Uh-oh, I better be careful there. It's Sunday and almost every other gym except LFA has a whole bunch, has like metal cinder kind of stuff, right? Like dividing lines. So I'm just going to give you, we will do, even when we end up in our other gym and I want to get rid of half my team for a while so I can work with my setters, they'll go do wall stuff. They'll just here back and forth, and then we'll have a little progression. So the setting portions of that starts just here. Okay, so some of you, if you want to go, and you have to reassure them, it's not going to be that easy right to start with. All right, except for some of those. We're nice and close. So this to me is getting that. Can we get speed? Can we just that feel in that speed? All right, guys are getting better. That's good. Second stage. Be careful. We'll just back up and make sure this is far enough here. I'm going to give you the white line. And first stage for the really young kids. Toss, step, boom, push. Just there and push. As they get better, or for my setters work against the wall every day for warm-up. They just are gone. We're doing passing or arm warm-up or something. They're spending 4 or 5 minutes doing that, okay? Just so the 15 and 18. So can we get 25, unless you're there, in a row? And my one main cue out of this is wait, like just that timing. Just when you extend. When you press through with your elbows, okay, and fire. Go ahead, we'll just do a few because even seeing them. Questions are fine at any time.
You said 25 for your little girls, like you 13.
Oh yeah, 20. 20. They're trying, you bet. They may end up a little closer. Yep. They won't necessarily start there. Okay, time out. And I might do, who's nice and tall here? Can I steal you just for a sec? So what I might do when they're going to struggle, so they're going to struggle doing this, they're going to be too stiff, they're going to lose that hand position. We'll go do another set near there, and then just hands up when I see someone there. And so I'm going to go, boom, no. You're way too stiff through here. Relax this, right? And here comes the ball, and get it. Okay. Yeah, all the way and extend all the way. Catch. Good. Go. All right. So younger kids are even with a partner. Back and forth. Just this action coming through. Okay, so we'll do 2 to 3 sets of that. You can give them things like, I don't know, the alphabet. There's my A and a B, or work in circles. Another way. Another one I like is from close, and then I'm going to work away from the wall. How far can you get? Okay? Can you just keep progressing in between the two? While we're here, for the higher level players, some of them, a good drill but not an easy, once they've got the feel of that, like continual, is you can start even there and high. Okay? That's tougher, but it really helps staying close. And very good for those setters that, want to lunge and push at the ball that way.
Do you want them touching the wall?
You want them just touching. So ideally, world-class setters could probably maintain control going way up at the top and then only going a foot off the wall. All right? So I'll just illustrate briefly with a story. I remember watching a Chinese national team or B team training in Winnipeg with the national team. And it's one of those gyms where you pull a big row of bleachers out, okay? And I looked on the team scrimmaging, Canada, and their second setter was behind the bleachers. Boom, boom, boom. I looked over 15 minutes later, still going. So I got curious. 30 minutes plus, I don't know exactly how long. So getting to more than 1,000. And if you watch some of them, this is just automatic for them, right? So we need that bit of that feel and that doing there. Yeah, okay, very good question. So I've tried a few different things, okay? That's a great question. So one that I used to use was, it's like there's little fishing hook or a fishing line pulling that part to try and get away from this. So the biggest issues are what I would call breaststroke, right? The claw, right? Like that. And then there's the ones that struggle just with that shaping. So that they're here. And I don't have a name for this one, call it the scrunch. They want to, they think it's so hard, they're so tight back through here. Okay? So they're back that way. To answer your question, so on the movement, I don't get overly concerned, right? Unless I start seeing too much. What I try and talk about is speed from here and push to a spot. Push it up high. So when we do the other, the setting development, I'll maybe have, I think in there I'll get to a couple of things just on the angle of release that affects things. For the younger kids, what I'll do is, we've done some of these easy reps, but I'll do things like up in the air once, let's go higher, get underneath here, and then even just on Monday we went, okay, you're the starting setter if you can hit the roof, right? Ball's not moving that hard, but just to get them almost the opposite of these nice little controlled reps against the wall, that learning that movement chain and the power, okay, coming through. And the reason I mentioned that in answer of your question is, what happens, I think, is they think they've got to do so much from here up. And really, look at a skinny little guy like me. I can set it fairly high. It's all about timing, right? It's just boom. So I'll tell them, hey, it ain't a shot put. It's a volleyball, right? So just get that. So if they can learn, I talk a lot about just ankles and elbows, or knees and elbows, just the timing. From here through to there, and fire.
When you have really young and skill level, very, very basic, would you encourage, what I've done is I encourage my girls not to bend their elbows as much, because for them to, the ball's coming in and they kind of get caught up, and then it's like a chuck, it's too long in their hands. So what I've tried to do for them is extend their arms just a little bit, same basic concepts of the hand and softness and whatever, but I try to get them so that it's just in and out faster, hit it here instead of allowing it to go here, because I find that just,
there are some that absorb a lot, like the old style beach set. You know, you will see that.
The longer it's in their hands, I found for the more elementary, very, very basic girls, I go just don't bend your elbows as much.
Right.
Attack it a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that. That's where I put my emphasis, just, like we want them above the head, not going to be much, and especially as we get a little better and we get older, we want it higher. I do think they need, at that age, they need some here, because they're going to have to get a little power and strength from that way if they're going to set the ball higher. The other thing some players do is they wait for it way up here, right? Like I want to do this skill. They're over anxious. So now what do? Either they're just flicking it or they're pulling it down too far. So if anything, I have talked, okay, keep it nice and tight. Wait for that ball, and then back to that little trampoline idea. Let it go in, and then it's out. So in those notes I said, and we'll get to the movement part soon, but you got to remove the fear. So to me, that's number one, is just kind of looking at them and giving them these opportunities where they can explore and go, okay, figure it out, and the ball is not moving so fast for them. Does that make sense? All right. So trying to create those kind of drills. Anything else, just quick before we sit down? We're getting to it. We're coming right up.
I know for the younger kids, a lot of
Absolutely.
just doing this, right?
Absolutely. They don't move that much. I would have them open a little more.
Okay.
Open this way. Here's a very good question. What do you do with those kids and they don't have that kind of set, because there are some. I would just open it up a little bit more. Get them just to rotate those fingers back a little bit. Okay, like this way. Does that make sense? All right. We've covered hand position. I think we've covered contact position, right? Pads, it's back. Movement skills. Move with your feet and set with your hands. Move with your feet and set with your hands, because here is what I see a lot. Kids come to our summer camp, or younger kids, toss the first ball. Right? So I give them little stories. 100-meter runners. How many do you see charging down the track like that? They've got to get comfortable. And I've gotten to the point with setters, I'll make them run, over-exaggerate it. Boom, square up. But even for younger kids, if you can just watch them, they've got to move there, get set up, then set the ball. This body position, I think it's good that they have a concept of this early. We'll do more detail on this probably in the second part of the session, but I'm going to say it now. Tendency, sometimes they want to set forward, boom, and just launch it. I think one of the principal causes of that is they start right with a partner, and they're no good. All right? So do you want to just, no? So the coach says, I'd like you to do whatever. Toss to yourself and set to your partner. You're fine, back up, and I'll back up maybe. Set to your partner, and all they want to do is complete the drill, right? And maybe we try and keep it going, and they don't move well, and it's not in control. Right? It's more natural to take balls here, isn't it? Than here than it is here. So you have to be very conscious of that and maybe not be careful which activity you're giving them right away. So step and drag, that's good. Your work is done for the moment. Pardon me? Yeah, you could. What'd Kessel say about that? I don't buy it either. I'm going to give you a drill. Shh. Oh. Just neutral, open body position to me, like this, aiming up. So Donna, you're like get to a posture that looks like that. And maybe not at U12, I don't worry about it. But by this year, I think U14, we're going to do stuff. Ball in front. And step, drag, so you are balanced, but you are open. Okay, moving through the ball. And it is not a natural kind of position to be in, so therefore we've got to give them ways to do that. Let's leave that jump through to jump setting. That should have gone a little bit later probably. But I will include probably in U14 stuff. Giving you my two quotes there. We're in the drills part. Wall work. Guys good with that? So in terms of an overall progression, go from like some forearm pass, pick one or two of those setting drills, forearm pass, setting drill, 5 of each, just kept mixing it up. Good way to arm warm up, move way back. I want you guys hitting the base of the wall, give them their arm next cues, you know, stuff like that. They can have 5-10 minutes. You only got one court. They get used to that, even by yourself. They can go do those, right? They can do some of that. Obviously better to have the instruction with somebody else. I will only make a handful of people, or 10, 12 people, just to demonstrate the next one. You got to want to move a little bit. I need at least 2. Want to grab a ball? You can go on that side. Thanks, Comp. So grab a ball, and we're working along these lines. You're going to work there. You can take the black line. This is called set in a circle. All right? So I got to give credit way back when Mr. How many old timers? You worked with Hanju remember? A Korean guy that brought in. And he was really big on these kind of drills, and it's stuck with me ever since, like years or so ago. And it very much falls into that quote of add the movement and remove the fear. So your task here is you pick a line, and that to me is important, that they've got a goal. And you're just going to toss it up, you're going to set, and then you're going to run around behind the ball, and then you're going to keep it going. So I'll do 2. So it's here, and that's a bad start. I'm showing me I good U14. and we're going to try and go for 20, 30 seconds, okay? Go ahead. Anybody else wants to jump in? Right? So you don't have balls, so everyone one can run. We're trying to cover about 5 or 6 meters if we can, okay? We're trying to hit the line. Good. Go. That's okay. Perfect. Hang on a sec. So number one thing here is we're going to try and make sure we use our elbows to increase the speed, right? Because the ball is moving slowly, so you've just got to time that speed, okay? Number one, that's your cue. I didn't want much, but I think ball going a little bit to side. Let's make sure we move first, move further than you think you should behind the ball, okay? Because what they're going to do is sort of watch the ball, and I'll tell them gravity works, right? We've covered that in school. Yeah, we know it's there. It's going to come down. So don't worry about that. You just work super hard getting around the ball, okay? So even if you make errors here, let's see if we can get it to go a little higher and a little further, and you make sure you get nice and square with your hips and shoulders. Sound familiar? If you teach setters, go ahead. Good. Extend, nice, relax those elbows. Bing, that's it. Way to go. Excellent job, got a lot further. Time out for 1 sec. So, thanks guys, that's great. Why do I love this drill? Let me count the ways. Number one is it involves movement, which is good, right? So footwork. Question, getting far enough behind the ball, squaring up your hips and shoulders to your target, having to provide contact on the ball that goes like up and down, not like this. So all your setters that want to do this and then get the ball will quickly figure out it ain't going to work. Then they'll cheat and just do that, and I'll explain that doesn't qualify as a circle in my books, right? We're going to gradually try and increase that speed. The other thing I like about it is it is giving them lots of great feedback, right? Because if they're always setting it off over there, probably their contact, right? It's just not clean, so that over time they get it. I also use this for kids, and we just started in our first week, determined to see if these U14s can back set. It's not really that much tougher a skill. They just never do it, right? So let's introduce it early, even if we're not running a lot of back set. And it's actually easier, so I do my second set this way. Push. And to me, it's the best way to introduce back setting that I've found, because you are getting in control and slowing down that sort of step and drag and extension moving through the ball, okay? So again, it's so that I use that you can now, pick one or two of these each day. They can do it pretty quickly. Everybody can do it, or got a small space, half go, half rest. The other ones are in there. And then when they get tired, because they actually got more tired than they thought, we'll just do little fun things. You got to work your way down to the floor and get back up, right? Just stuff like that. They all play soccer, so who's the last one? You're going to have to 2 sets, and then maybe do that. Can you keep it going? They see I can't do it. They feel better, right? And then they go from there. So we'll structure just little mini contests that way, and they don't even know they're getting as many contacts as they are. So throw that. Any questions about that? Again, summer camp, do that. It's the kids. Increase the movement. They get better at it. They feel better about it. Additional individual contact drills. Problem when you put the... It's probably clear in my mind when I wrote this out. That fun. So keeping that a little bit of fun in the skill that's challenging you're on. And the mental part is maybe those little contests. Can you increase your space? To me, this is all good stuff, right? This is going to make them better as you progress through. Pass and set drill. Kyle, just because I know you. Mari, you want to get out here? Just in case I don't toss this accurately and you guys get hurt. Oh, hurt someone. I'm just kidding. All right, guys are way back there. So here's my atomic drills, okay, for the U12. Behind the red line, I'll just take the ball. We've got a group Other players can do this if you've got a lot of hits. Start deeper, Mari. Your task is, I'm going to roll the ball to them. I could underhand serve, whatever you'd like. You're going to start deeper. You're going to forearm pass, and you're going to get a point if you pass it in front of the 3-meter line, but you can still catch it. Okay? That's how you get a point to start with. You're going to go, what's this got to do with setting? I'm getting to it. Okay? Here you go. There. You got to get there. Mari. What part? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. And go. Whoop. So why does Kyle not get a point? Okay. Go, Mari. Whoop. Get there, get there. Yeah, barely. Both feet in bounds. Sorry. No, I'm not missing the football game. Go. And then movement. Go. Got to get forward. No, didn't get ahead. Go. Got to pass towards the net, but high enough. Okay, there we go. Now to get a point, you got to get it ahead of the 3-meter line, and you've got to set it, if they're real young, over the net. If they're 10 or 11, over the 3-meter line. Back here into the last 2 meters of the court to get a point. Go. It's going to be tough from there, except he's a pretty good setter. Hoop. Still got to get to the 3-meter line. That'll do. That'll be worth one. Hoop. Get it forward. Okay, so you can decide how tricky you are about it. Thanks, guys. You may be coming back. So what I like about these things is they've got to control the ball, right? They got to control the ball, but I'm prescribing what I think is success, right? A forearm pass up in this zone high enough to get it, and they don't move enough in volleyball. Right? The stuff, they don't move. So we need them to move. And they're building that. They're still getting some setting contacts coming in. So we'll play little games that way. Then, dig and set later. We're moving. We will change, and we'll just, 2 people are back there, right? Throwing in. 1 passes. 1 goes in and sets the ball. Can be over the net too. Okay, is it better to demo? Sure. Okay, so I'm going to take 3, 4 people just ready to go that side. Any 4. It won't be any harder than that. Scared away all my demo people. Here we go. So 1 is one side of the court, 1's the other, and the other 2 are waiting. You're the next pair, okay? So yep, that's good. Okay, so we'll do a couple and then we'll talk and we'll do a couple more. So your job is basically the same, only you're working in a pair now. So I'm going to toss this ball into one of you. So there is decision making, right? If you don't get the ball, the other person should be coming forward a little bit. Try and pass to the middle of the court, right? And then, did you do something like this? Okay, so I'm too lazy. Hup. There, and push it deep. No, you got to set it right now, deep, and go. And you're going to run, and you got to run. You got to go get the ball, whoever doesn't, to start with. Go ahead. So they got to cover the court. Good, nice job. Right? We'd have more, but here we go. Ball. And I do believe in some coach-controlled stuff because I know Kyle is good, and he's getting a little bored, right? So I'm going to challenge him more. Hoop. Right, to work there. No, Kyle, that's got to be middle of the court, doesn't count, right? And Kyle, now I've destroyed his confidence, so I can give him a little easier ball. Boom, just there, partner comes in, okay? See what I'm getting at? Like just gradually, along that theme of gradually challenge him a little bit.
For deep sets, deep to the corner, that's just as if they're putting a free ball over?
Nope, nothing to do with the game context. More, thanks, great question. More just, instead of letting them catch a ball, and I've tried things like, okay, let's get it in setting position. How long does that last for? Like about 1 hardworking, listens to everything I say kid, and the other 10 are like, yeah, I got it. Walk in there. But if they don't get a point, right, and they can't extend the ball, then I've found when there's points on the line, they listen to what I say. And when they aren't, they don't. So that's all. And the second thing with that, did John touch it all on, in the motor learning stuff, on external cues versus internal cues? Not extrinsic, intrinsic motivation. External cues versus internal cues? No. Okay. Okay. So to me, that's really kind of big now. So instead of telling them, let's take that serve, receive, that forearm pass, the first thing that to do, pass the ball forward and catch it. Okay? So an internal cue, a way to get that across would be, it's together like this, contact the ball below waist level, right? An amount of swing, small amount of weight shift, right? Going through a little progression of stuff. An external cue of that is going to be the ball must reach a height of this, landing there. And that's going to tell them. So that their focus of attention is performing that external cue. Okay? And I have found that for a lot of players simplifies things. Or if I'm dealing with a bigger group doing a whole bunch of things, I kind of work at some of those cues in different skills. Let's give another example. Serving. We'll serve to try and hit the tape. Right? Close to the tape or below the second to top red. You get a point if you do that. Right? So they're just thinking about hitting that. Height is set. Ball's got to get this height, not, exactly in those angles. So I digress maybe slightly, but it does answer about the setting to the zone. Don asked, if you didn't hear, is that just so you're practicing if you're giving up free balls? And to me, it was more just they're getting more practice, having to move, react to the situation, and still set the ball. And so for younger kids, even that two-person situation is going to be very tough, right? So you may have to slow this down and make it more obvious. You have the two of them on there, face somebody, and then tell them they got to release and get into the ball. And this may not seem like a big deal, but we have a couple coaches here that were with me as I attempted to teach penetration from zone 1 to my U14s last Monday night. And it failed miserably, okay? It failed because I progressed it probably too fast. And despite the fact that, 7 or 8 of the 10 put up their hands that they played positions in high school this year in grade 8. And this is a group that was, first and fourth or fifth in U13 triple ball club provincials, right? It's not a new group to the skill. And we were playing fours on one side because they played a ton of fours, 4-on-4 stuff, but always 2 front, 2 back. What I tried to do is say, we're going to line up with 3. This is the person in right back. They're going to penetrate in and get set up. No clue, right? Or maybe it was my explanation. All right, I don't know, looking at one of them there. And I just realized, whoa, got to really make sure they understand this. And it's made me reinforce why I wanted to include to you guys, like, the reason to get them to understand the game a little bit, even with those 2 people there. If you don't get the ball, then what's your job, that other person? I got to move, I got to be ready, right, to get the ball. Because I know you've faced that frustration of, here we go, now we're going to play, finally get that good pass. Oh, everybody stands and watches. And it's why I think atomic and catching ball 2 is really good, those types of progressions.
Quickly, when you have that position at 4, do you mean 5? Because you're setting to 5, but you have 4 on your...
On-court drill, toss and set. Nope, different drill. So it's where we are right now. So I will just take, Christoph, if you want to come in, you can set some balls, take a target outside. I'll be the third person, someone just to catch and go. So now we're going to introduce, so we're in on-court drills, placing the skill in context. All right, come this side. So there, and I tend to get them to start off the net a bit and make sure they're outside, so we try and get there. Some of them aren't going to be strong enough to do this. This can be 3 players, right? So it's just here. I'm going to make you move. I want you to square up to that position. I want you to set the ball up and down. Okay? So you just worry about up. You get there. And try and take a little spike approach and jump and catch it. Okay? So wherever he gets it to. Don't do too well. Okay, so on this kind of athletic ready position, in fact, I'll make you make a couple of steps in and go. Go, let's see it. Get there and set up. Good. Here's the toss. Up and down. Too far, but that's okay. Good catch. And we will do a few in a row. We can do this a couple of different ways. You set to me, okay? So if they're a little better. Ready? Go ahead. And then you just set the ball to me. And I could go right away, forearm pass. They can do this. You don't have to move each time now. You can just stay there. Or I might have to catch this ball. You could decide. But at least two people are there. And again, to make this easier, you can tighten this up a little bit. But too much, it starts to lose its thing. So just groups and rotate and go. There are threes drills there. I mean, I think there's different ways to do it, but good little warm-up. The reason I threw that in there, I'm going, in my head, I'm going, that's really basic, Doug. Why do you have that in there? Is start to put them, this is the way they're going to be. The spatial context, the spatial orientation on the net. That two drill that I had, you know, where I was tossing it over, you guys want to come this side? And this is probably, did John do some stuff like this, dig and set things? Is that what I heard? So if you want to go in 1, Christoph, and you're digging in 5, all right? So same kind of idea, and we could probably take target outside. I won't spend a lot of time on this. There's better stuff to get to here, I think. So you have to read my cues, right? You come in, pass to the middle of the court, right? You're setting. Yeah, I'll get out of your way. I just want to do it here because we might need to do this on 2 sides. There, and push high, good. And then again, we give them point. There could be targets there, or you could be moving to catch, or jump and catch with a spike approach gets you thing, right? Ready, go. And I want you to call the ball nice and early, so as soon as you don't pass here, and we're going to set this goal of 20-10, right? Was Ron here? Pike? No? Okay. I saw his 20 feet in the air, about 8-10 feet off the net. Ready? That's your goal. Yep. Boom. 20 and 10, even a little higher. Good. And you'll set that even higher, give her time and space. And gradually we can go a little bit stronger. Can I take a third body here? Just quickly. Kyle, you want to zip out? Sorry. 3's right here to me, and you're actually going to run. Come on with me, Christoph. Come on right here. Group of 3. You guys are going to touch this ball, run under the net. Don't step on that ball. And everybody's got to touch the ball once. Try and get 3 contacts. Ready? Yeah? Go. Hoop. Yeah. Good. Go. Set high enough. Good. Next group of 3 would be in. Let's do one more. Come on back. Pretend there's 3s, right? And just go. And go. Hoop. And then they get tougher. Who's got it? All right. Well, that's making her work. Get a card so you could just get that rolling, moving through. Another thing, kids have enjoyed doing that. Dig and set and hit basics, moving to 4-on-4. People have done some 4-on-4 in this session? Yes? Okay. 2 front, 2 back is typically how we've done it. Our team uses 4-on-4 as our UBC team uses 4-on-4 as one of their favorite warm-up games. Okay, and they'll start roll, off speed, that kind of stuff. We have one specific rule that I think is very good for everybody to learn to set, and that is if the back row must set. Okay, so the back row players must set, which means you're building off of those drills we just did. And the ball goes into 5, position 1, you get to that middle of the court 20-10 spot, okay? And if for some reason the front row has to set, I make our players, university level or a high school level, set the back row. And the reason I do this is that I found that just, again, that ability to learn, I'm not playing, but this is my job. Get in, penetrate, get to the spot, get to the right spot. And what at summer camp, I'll just put on my happy face and I'll go, remember, think a play ahead. Right? Think 1 play ahead. Did you have to pass that ball? No. Well, what's the next thing you might have to do? Set. How's the best place to do that? Should you start earlier? right? Yes, get there. I'll deal with her if the pass isn't great and it's way back there. But we're aiming for you to move and get to that spot. So building that sort of strategic awareness early is really helpful. One of the better things I think our UBC team does, comparison to some other teams I watch, is I've seen our development of our, especially our middle players, like our position 5 takes second balls, right? Like if the setter plays. So that's usually the libero, but that's, you know, our middles when they're in serving on 2 balls. They're comfortable, they enjoy, and they've improved over their time. I think because we do these kind of structured 4-on-4, 5-on-5 games a lot more, it becomes second nature for them just to get to the ball and move, right? Not that awful pregnant pause when you realize the ball's in the air and everyone else on your team is sort of watching, right? There isn't that automatic movement to the ball. All right, flip the page. Any other questions before we do that younger kids stuff that we didn't get to? It's the time. What does that say? 2:45? Half an hour. Let's go. So setup, position, and movement skills. So we review, and with even current setters, they struggle, not so much from here, but they need that work. They've got to make this movement a lot. Not this movement, not this position, not this one. 45, open, get to the court, able to move, able to do that. Little different bit off the net. There are different theories now where they're having some setters start off the net. They can get back there. I'm kind of old school. I'm here and making sure they're middle of the court. So in the last couple years, every one of my university setters, when they've had to work to penetrate to get in here, like coming from position, you know, when they're in 4 or 5, they lose it. They're not good. They start watching the ball. They're off balance. They don't get set up, okay? And it really hurts. I hadn't even noticed that it was. So, you know, you start to, when you're looking for it, you will find it. But we're back sometimes a lot. So get there, boom, you got to get set up. And I make the setters, there's any break in the play or new passes, they have to make a 2-meter penetration. Just got to do this. I want them away from standing there and waiting for the ball. Right? They're having to do that. And that's pretty basic. But if they can be in that good initial start position, it's the same as in any other skill, they're going to react better. The second thing on the movement pattern that you can look at is there's a tendency for them to assume the worst. Tough serve going there. They'll start to lean and move and get off balance before they need to. Got to stay here. Just like you're teaching your blockers to wait and read, you're teaching your setters wait and read, okay? So for the future setters you send to UBC, if you could pay attention to that, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, the movement skills. So, if you want to come, some balls, and I'll take a target in 2 zones. So we're at number 8, in and out of system setting movement and drill work. Everybody understand what I mean between in and out of system training? Out there would be great. So, yes, we're all good? Everybody's nodding, or people aren't that? Okay, we'll cover it. So here is where, you know, you'll see everybody will do this stuff. Drill structure, drill increase. Okay. So you're going to penetrate. You're going to set 3 balls. Just standing there. Ready? Go. Good. And you get to stay there. So you're going to set 3 in a row. So here, and then move. Good. And there. Good. And penetrate again. Or second setter works. Thing like that. So they're still involving movement. I'll have them work from the other zone. From this very basic thing, which we could start this way, go ahead. Let's say it's U15, go there, get set up, nice. I'll double check and actually go back. How quickly the serve is coming, go. There and show me set up, great, nice job. Okay, slow this down, go. And then you can just bounce here. You can stay now for those next two. Now I want you to read which way I'm going. Boom. Get there. Good. European, right? That's good. They just teach different, right? Like they teach that you can cross your body here, and I don't. So this is good.
Just to fake a little bit, Sanders.
Yeah. Hey, we're level 1 here. And in fact, so we're going to go. So he's right. Like you can do this, fake, but we'll leave that probably for another day. What I would like you to do is get footwork that gets you behind the ball. So we're going to penetrate and be in good position. Ball's going to come up, run, behind, step and drag through the ball. Okay? Ready? Go. Behind the ball. Good. And then release there. And it's okay to set reasonably high. Ready? Again? Go. Okay. I spent at summer camp, so feel free, you know, when you ship your U15 to 16 setters, 14-year-olds coming to camp, we have setter training, it's positional. This is where I find I spend the vast majority of my time just trying to get this concept through and under control. And I'll go to things like, okay, imagine the ball's coming down there, come down there. Now don't go right to the ball, right? And get there. You got to get behind more, right? It's a tougher concept. So it's going to, you know, might have to slow it down. It's going to come here. You get behind the ball, there, step and drag, little movement through the ball. Okay? So we're always facing there. To me, this is good for helping them get oriented that way, facing the court, in different positions from there. We're going to stay with this. I'll take a second target. Question?
Step and drag, is it always left, right, left? Is there any rule?
Great question. Generally, right, left, okay? So the reason for that, the net is here. Sorry. No, so the net is here. So we're kind of blocking balls this way, right? And if you think about it from off the net, if it goes like this, the tendency is to over-rotate and probably push balls over the net. And that. Having said that, do drills so they're good off both feet. Christoph, do you want to just come here? And I'm going to toss you a ball, and we're in partners right now, so just face me, don't worry about the net. So this isn't in the thing right there. Throw it under additional drills or write it down somewhere if you want. You must always set off your inside foot. Okay, ready? Go. Just off that one foot. So it's going to look like this, and then that, okay, to get around. Ready? Go. Inside foot. Good. Ready? And then I'll have my setters, they'll just work. Boom. Get there. Good. And around. I was a little mean. You're a tall guy. Okay? So that flow and that movement around, so be comfortable with both. And I do have even the younger players, even if it's not pretty, work on that. Why? It makes you square, right? And anything else? Sort of related anyways, but bonus mark. You got to really kind of get behind, because if you don't, you're going to be here and floating and drifting too far, okay? So you can control that with a toss. Setters could work as a toss. I'll take a second target back set. Does anyone? Thank you. And we'll have two balls working, okay? So I'm going to penetrate again, even a small movement. If I toss front, I'd like you to set back. So we're going to set away from the flow, and then right away. Now you got to go forward and go. Hoop. And I like to keep both. Good. Go. Wow, this is a big guy. He takes up space. The net seems smaller to me all of a sudden. All right, so just tossing into that flow, forcing him there. That link to, remember that's back set, like that's going fairly quick because he's a quick guy. Won't go that quick, right, with the U15. That's set in a circle stuff. And I introduced back set reasonably early because otherwise, tendency is over top, over top, over top. And I'll even with the younger people go, I'm going to make the call. Small little penetration just so I make them go there. Good, set up. I'm going to call. Back. Back. Front. Good. Front. And even they're not great, I'm not stressing right away. For my players, I am. Like, we're working on it, and we'll work on every set coming through there. Could you grab that antenna from there? And let me grab this. And just stick it next to that other antenna. About, give them 18 inches or so. A little more. This goes, this credit to this drill, Keith Hansen, Red Deer College. There are no new drills. They're just regurgitated, ready to catch. So we can do the same thing back. So it's called the antenna drill. In case it's not written right there. We're going to set balls, and it's got to, you're going to jump up and just sort of say, yeah, it's there, there, so you have to go. So instead of me talking to the setters all the time, it's got to go further, it's getting too far, blah, blah, blah. Your setters get tired of hearing from you. I'll tell you that right now. It can be rocky relationships because they're going to need a lot of feedback. Just do that, and then they've got the cues. You know, yeah, it's getting there. It's not falling inside anymore or whatever. Obviously, younger kids, you could start with a little bigger one. You can have a hitting line with this, all right? For if you are running older kids and some speed and variation, we'll go, we call our outside set here a go, getting all the way out there. And inside a meter and a bit is our 20, set with speed. And even with some younger kids ready to set, I'd like you to alternate between go and 20. Okay? So get it out there. And now shorter and quicker in there. All right? And I think it is good to just give them that challenge, but don't put too much stress on it. But I'm also going to call back too, right? Back. Hoop. Go. Back. 20. Okay? There's one. Do you want to stand up here? I'll take somebody else. Just to, any other setters or stuff? Keep going. I don't think it hurts to. Anybody want to set? Right there. Oh, yes, Miss Bradstock. Get in there. Thank you. Early on, I will do step where I'll put the box here. Even though your team isn't going to run a 30, this is like in the 30 position, okay? We are going to set, you're going to work to set, Christoph face the setter. Just stick your arms sort of up like this. That's the target. Yes, that's higher than, you know, kids are getting, not the point of it. All right? I'd like you to set that 31, and then I'd like you to set that gauche set, or the ball over top, okay? And alternate between the two. Good. But I'd like you to go with more, don't worry about him hitting it. Make him think it's going to be fast. And he's going to have to be quick with his arm. Christoph, you can hit it or catch it. It doesn't matter if there's stuff going on the other side. And the reason I'm saying that, I don't want them aiming and slowing. I'm using this as an introduction for them to help set with some speed from their hands. 30. Good. Perfect. And go. Just over top. Excellent. So they got that feel in between the two. If they're not quite strong enough, maybe it's 30, that 30 and 20. 30, go ahead. Just alternate. And then you can start to mix it up. And the next stage of this, the special thought, is we'll do 3. Let's go 30. Back. Go. Ready? She's struggling. I'm going to move right here. I'm going to move to here so that she sees me and she doesn't have to work quite as hard to square up. As they get better, we'll turn it in any of these reps into a fan drill. Okay? All right? So let's do that. 30. And we're going to, you're too good, so I got to look better. So I'm going to call out the set, and you've got to make it. Ready? Back. Back. Get there. Feet there. And I'm going to just take that one example right there, just to one set. There's a lot as they start thinking here, and I really want them to work to get in position, right, to be there. So they could set. That neutral, open body position now becomes really important in all those zones. All right, you get the idea, right? We can mix this up in any way, and we can add more movement, right? So ready, small penetration from any spot, and go, hoop, go. You just choose your best set right now, okay? Get there, that's fine. We'll go with 2 balls. We tend to use 2, and I can handle that. Get in position. Okay, so again, I would say that in the game, how many times you pass imperfectly? Less than 50%, right? So you got to make sure less than 50% of your balls are perfect to your setter. Like, don't just, this, yeah, looks good, looks good. They should be thinking they've got to move probably on every rep, even if it isn't a lot. And one thing, I call it little micro movements. I remember, we're not doing with this with my sets. That's why it's good doing these things. Ready? Small amount of movements is going to happen pretty quick. Let's go. You don't have to set Christoph, just one of the other 2. Okay? Over top. Go. Hoop. Okay, and I should have had a 3rd ball, and I'll probably have, for this drill, I'll have a sub. And I'm working that small little movements, small little adjustments. Go. Hoop. 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 You'll get it. You'll get it. So you got to set and reestablish position. Hoop. Go. Yeah. Go. Hoop. Good. Nice job. And then every now and then, give it away. Boom. Set the release. Ball outside. You don't have to, you're not making that tough for your team, but as they get better at it, right? 1 or 2. And it's like kind of little overload. Fire those neurons and getting them away from pass here. Because that's, you know, just going to be a lot more random than that. Any questions on there? We're at number 9 in case you're going, what the heck is he doing? Brian, feel free to, I saw you came in here, if you got anything, see, former setter.
I have one.
Sure.
For young kids, what's your best advice for technique or some sort of exercise to really strengthen their hands?
Good one.
That's a struggle. Movement,
Yeah, times.
not as much, but
Sure. Don't tell Ross, it's going off the carpet here. Don't drag it. Okay, Christoph, I'd like you to just sit on that box there. And if someone can just stand here to catch the balls. And I want you to set outside. Okay, so you've got no body position at all. As they get a little better, like that's good here, right? Through into that position. Sorry, that was a little tough. So to me, that's one way. Or sitting even, you don't have a box, just come sit on the floor. It's out, and you still got to set it in the air. Push it up. Just push it up in the air. Don't worry about it getting there. Yeah. Okay, so the timing, you're breaking that down. To me, that would be one way to do that. I think you have to be careful with young kids about how much time they spend with heavier balls, right? Just on their wrists. But a little bit won't hurt. So another answer is you get a soccer ball or basketball, right? And a few reps like that so that, you know, they're just open. That opens up their hands, you know, those big light balls, but you can also do it that way. I have no, I don't end up using that much, but I've got nothing against it. I wouldn't spend a lot of time with it. And I wouldn't spend a lot of time with younger kids on that right away. I guess I do have an opinion. Because I think they have trouble just tracking and providing speed to this ball. You know, it's why I like the light ball, you know, light volley light, especially for passing and stuff.
One more question.
Sure, absolutely.
What do you teach your younger kids with regard to getting more power to lift that ball higher, using the floor and they're bending their knees?
Other things other than that?
No,
Doing that, absolutely. So the question was, how do they get more power, right? Because that's going to be a big problem. It's not going far enough. So I think it is going back to doing some of those drills, like I said, 1, 2, high. You know, can you hit the roof? Can you provide that? Because once they get that concept, that'll be better. Maybe it'll be low, medium, high. You know, just mixing stuff up. Over-exaggerating that is my only cue. So I would have the setters maybe in tighter here, and it's just got to set to yourself and then push it high. I don't know, anybody else had, I don't claim to be next, you know, but again, to me it's like, the mechanics are there and they get enough contact and you gradually increase that demands on them, you know, I think they'll be able to get to acquire it.
For the quick cues, you want to say things like use your legs. You want to remind them that
Yeah. Yeah. And I think most people do that, and I agree with that. And I'll say, like to my setters as they get better, I'll go ankles and elbows. Oh yeah, there was one thing earlier, remember it said jump throughs to jump set? We need to do that. Do you mind coming back? You guys come back? So how I introduce, I'll have you do the first few. I think it's want to be target first, and then that's fine, you can just leave it there. Fine. Just come hang out here first and then we'll change it up. I think jump set, learning to jump through the ball, jump set is a great way to get power, okay? So you don't have to jump and get it at the top of there. You're just jumping through the ball, okay? Go. Good, perfect. We'll do a couple. Ready? Wait, through, and I'm purposely leading it a little bit in front because in the air your body will naturally get that nice, open, neutral body position. So there's no reason, and this will get them that power and get away from them having to think, because this is a very complicated thing, I'm going up through here, and this ball's coming back at me, right? I got a time when I'm doing all this in relation to this, and then I've got to absorb a little bit and do that. That is not an easy skill, right? Under control. But if we can just get them leading to the right way. Good. Oh, he wants to hit. It's a good set. Okay. So that's probably one more way to increase power that we would want to do that way. Transition skills just means don't forget about the fact that they've got to think about playing defense, right? And maybe have to dig and then get in. So give them some ways to work on that. Can you guys just go 1 and 2 off the net defense, 1 and 1. And you can make these as hard as easy as not. Whoever, come back ready to dig, Christoph, ready, movement there. Whoever doesn't dig sets. No, sorry, I didn't make that clear. Just pass into the middle of the court because we're going to try and keep it continuous. All right, so you're both ready. Go. So now pass to Christoph. Yep, ball control. Good, ready, and it could be here. Go. There, good, and get back. And I could make them switch and rotate. I could this up in a number of ways. I could hit, yeah. So now they're thinking. Christoph going 5. Yeah. Right, same thing. Teaching, go. Now get there. Good, and just how hard you get there. Good. And if my position 5 is taking second balls, boom, Christoph, get there, into the middle. And it's okay, you don't have to spend too long on it, but I think you can do that. The other one is blocking, right? Not forgetting about block position. Can you guys go? Block jump, and Christoph, wait, you'll be next. Ready? Block jump, turn into the court, go. And then we could do a couple there, could be off the net. Good. Go. All right, so as you get bored of just tossing, and again, the overall reminder is don't just have them standing there and setting. Doesn't take much creativity to change that. Is that me? No, okay. As long as no. In system jump setting, there we go, open neutral. Developing speed setting to all zones. Antenna drill covered, set to boxes, 31 speed to antennas, check. What do I got? What does that say? But 10 after, so quarter after, right? 7 minutes or so for discussion. So discussion, that third page is, you think an hour and 15. At first I'm like, wow, it's a long time. You're gonna get frickin' sick of me on topic. But then you start going, right? Between teaching overhand, training setter, and we haven't even got to tactics, right? If you wanted to look at that. So I knew we wouldn't spend a lot of time on it, but I just tried to put in order there, here is how I would look at that development, right? From U13-ish, U14, right through, okay? I can't say I got everything, but that, and then there's other things to layer in, right, at some point. So additional and more advanced individual tactics, teaching setter being able to dump the ball over the net. That, Christoph, I think they just did that, like tossing balls that are just tighter. Being able to work control, bump set, under control, giving them that. Not letting them bump set every ball, right? Like putting some pressure on, because that's going to be the natural thing they want to do. Then the whole communication about game plan stuff. And I thought I should include this because, you know, you really want to be thinking about their development moving forward. And they should at least be gathering some information. Okay, like, you know, what are we trying, what's our goal here? What are we trying to do? And it needs to be beyond, well, I set Janie, and then I set Sue, so I should probably set Katie next, right? Maybe not. That is what they do.
Especially girls. 'Cause they
Oh,
wanna be fair.
absolutely.
That'd be fair.
Yeah.
No, girls, they don't like Katie.
Or they don't like Katie, so Katie doesn't get the set, yeah. Yeah. And then we haven't even started yet on what the situation demands, right? Like, you know, how do you put this ball up in a hittable way? Sometimes it just comes back to, you know, that old setter or real estate joke. What's the three most important things in setting? Location, 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 right? So, you know, you get really good location from your setters, you know, the deception stuff isn't really that critical. All right, questions and discussion, a few. You got to put up your hand. Go.
I'd just like to know when do you use your go and when do you use your 20?
Oh, on that level, based on primarily two things. Number one, if the setter is struggling with her speed and getting it there, we might run some 20s, okay? It's based on the blocking of the other team. So like a team that blocks really spread, we'll try and bring some stuff inside. Teams that bunch it up, we'll make sure we can get there, and then we'll layer in some 20. There, go ahead, that was mean.
How would you use setter as attacker as U14, U15?
Good question. How would you use setter as an attacker? I would not let them attack very much at all, because they're going to want to. Like, that drives me crazy, right? They could, and that's why I think it's great. Like triple ball, everybody's got a set. I am welcoming a short, small discussion in between here on what system I should use at U14. I'm thinking 6-3, so you have 3 setters, 3 non-setters, and they set in 2 and 1? Or where do you have 1 and 6? So you always have 3 attackers, and you just move those players up a little bit so their movement demands aren't too much. Could you hear that? Right? So that'd be a 6-3 because they're all going to hit, right? Even the setters are going to hit. And every second person in your lineup is going to be designated as a setter. Is that an okay explanation? And the rationale behind that, why I love that, is you're producing more setters and you're not just assuming, sorry, Kyle, you're short, perhaps not that athletic. I can't figure anywhere else to use you yet because there's no libero position, so welcome to setting. Not good for our overall development of that position, and frankly, not good for your team's development. But by having 3, Kyle, you're a great kid. You deserve to play volleyball. You're doing really well. This would be a good position. You do this. And it doesn't mean that Warren, who's really athletic, has to set Kyle that often, right? Like he doesn't have to get the sets. And I guess you like that because now they have to learn to set all zones, even at U14. Is that right? Awesome. They have to learn penetrating. I've got to figure a better way on Monday to get that across. He has them penetrating from zone 1 and zone 6. Those 2. Pardon me?
They all switch to 1 and then penetrate to 1.
Oh, on defense, right. But out of serve receive, they've obviously got to come from 6. Questions? Go ahead. Hand signals. Good question. That's why you got to have discussion. I'll turn that over to you guys. Because I see these kids at camp. We don't spend a lot of time at it there, right? It's skill development, and I haven't had to do it yet. I would say, let me just say, probably it's like as soon as you are offering more than one alternative in a zone, right? Like either a quicker ball or a higher ball, then they're going to need a signal. Because if not, just eye contact that they're ready. Because if they're standing here, they're hitting outside, they're hitting we want the height of this ball this high in the middle and this high back, so you shouldn't need it then. Does that seem reasonable? Go ahead and then.
Do you teach thumb setting?
Like,
Back set.
oh, for back set, like how to get the ball to go back? No, I don't. So, anybody that wants to know that afterwards? To me, it's like complete the set. Finish the set, right? Follow through all the way, release. Yes, we do. Yep. And it's going to, and I'll tell you, we play 4-on-4 and 5-on-5 and other stuff. They're going to practice bump setting. Okay? But if they're struggling with it, we'll give them extra balls. And obviously our liberos need some because they can't hand set in front there. We've had some setters, I think, use it too much. So we don't. Christoph?
Yes, I have a question kind of related to the whole strategy and kind of the philosophy of becoming the setter.
Okay.
In Poland, and I've noticed in Europe it's a little bit different that like a setter is a mind, it's a brain of the team.
Yes.
And that's one thing. The second thing that he's got to be one, he's got to have a great vision, so it usually involves athleticism.
Absolutely. Yep.
In Canada, like I've been here 4 years, and the tendency is that, oh, a little kid, yeah, we're not recruiting the best athletes to be setters. It's kind of leftovers. Oh yeah, they can set. Yeah, let's take them as a setter.
No, I'd say you're.
Sometimes best athletes are best, like, are going to be setters, and those who are not.
Yeah.
We definitely
So that's why I think some of the modification of rules, right? U13, everybody goes, so at least some kid isn't pigeonholed right away, you're just a hitter, right? They all got to develop the skills. And that 6-3 system or having multiple setters on your team so they also swing, so really good because, you know, it is definitely an issue. I think it becomes a challenge, excuse me, when you get, you know, you've got your high school group and sometimes it is what it is and it's not really a selection issue at that point. So what do you do then? So, but, you know, I'll tell you, like back to, like maybe even who we used to select, we're biased that way a little bit. I remember way back when I was coaching a provincial team in Saskatchewan, Canada Games team, and Chinese coach I was working with national team was out to help me. He's a great guy and really good coach. And he wanted to change my setter. Like we're 12 months from Canada Games. He wanted to make that middle the setter. And I'm like, whoa, 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 I don't see this at all. And his one thing, just, you know, and maybe to bring it back, was, have you seen that arm speed? Have you seen how fast she extends? And she has no experience, right? She hasn't been setting. Just think, if you keep training her, how it could go. So there's, I just illustrate there's some different ways of, you know, approaching it, but that kind of, I would say an agility, right? And then the mental factors, so critical. Can they handle, frankly, a lot of feedback? Because that could be from hitters, from the coach. Can they recover? Do they want to learn and be that sort of coach quarterback on the court? Because the other thing, you know, I was started coaching Victoria, and he was still in Canada, and I was tearing my hair out, my first year setter at the time, and he's just laughing at me because he's like, Doug, you know, in training, you're the coach. In the game, setter is coach. And I really believe that. If you try and prescribe too much what to do, you're in trouble because you can't foresee how balls are going to go, what's going to happen. They have to build that knowledge and awareness. I'm sure we're out of time. Yeah, we are. Sorry. Kyle, to finish?
Did you play in this middle then or no?
No. But I felt better about it because the setter that did win, we did win Canada Games. So, you know, that's not like U13, like, but, you know, the province was happy. But she also went on set for the national team. So Lorianne Munn. So it wasn't a terrible choice that way anyways. So anyways, thanks, and stay for a couple minutes if there's extra. Good luck. Someone else is, I don't know the protocol here. Okay, I got it. We didn't drag it around. You bet.